welcome to the Stoic Manhood Guide. Let's get right to it. There's a dangerous lie floating around modern dating. That men should constantly bend, adjust, and apologize for simply existing. That women, by default, are the prize, while men are expected to prove their worth. But here is the truth most men don't want to admit. Many women walk into relationships with an ego so inflated, so untouchable, that it quietly suffocates every ounce of respect they could ever have for you. Today, we're going to talk about how to destroy a woman's ego. And when I say destroy, I do not mean hurt her or insult her. That is the path of a weak man. I mean stripping away that untouchable aura, removing the pedestal she has placed herself on, and reminding her, without a single word, that respect in a relationship is not one-sided. Her ego feeds on your reaction. The more you try to convince her, the more you try to prove yourself, the stronger her frame becomes. But when your silence, your detachment, and your refusal to be swayed communicates more than any speech ever could, that is when her ego cracks. So, in this video, I will break down the 6 psychological strategies that require no shouting, no explaining, just control, discipline, and presence. By the end, you will understand why your silence and your actions speak louder than any argument ever could. Let's begin. The foundation: understand the source of the ego. Before you can dismantle her ego, you must first understand the foundation upon which it is built. You need to know how it's constructed, and you need to know what feeds it. A woman's inflated ego doesn't appear out of thin air. In the modern world, it is fed and watered daily. It is nurtured by a constant, overwhelming stream of attention and validation. Think about it. From the hundreds of likes on her Instagram photos, to the endless stream of messages in her dating app inbox, to the way men's eyes follow her when she walks into a room. The modern woman is rarely, if ever, forced to confront her own flaws or question her own value. Her attractiveness is treated like a currency that grants her power, and she becomes accustomed to its worth. And here is the key insight. When someone has been endlessly validated, they begin to believe their value is unquestionable, absolute, untouchable. They expect this validation as the default. It is the air they breathe. The average man, when he meets a woman like this, makes a fatal mistake. He joins the chorus. He immediately tries to prove his interest. He rushes to compliment her looks. He works hard to be witty and charming. He rewards every small gesture she makes with over the top attention. He does exactly what every other man does. And in doing so, he becomes just another source of fuel for her ego. He becomes predictable and forgettable. So I want you to ask yourself a question and be honest. The last time you met a new, attractive woman, was your first instinct to impress her, or was it to calmly evaluate if she was impressive enough to earn your time? The revolution begins when you choose to be different, when you don't immediately feed her ego what it expects, when you don't chase, when you don't rush to compliment, when your attention is not given away so cheaply. Suddenly, she feels something she is not used to. A moment of uncertainty. She begins to wonder, why isn't he reacting like the others? Why isn't he feeding me what I'm used to getting? And here is the psychological trigger you must understand. The moment she starts questioning her own impact on you, her ego begins to shrink. Without saying a single word, you have destabilized her entire frame. You have silently reminded her that her beauty, her charm, or her attitude does not give her automatic power over you. This is the foundation of ego destruction. it is not achieved through aggression. It is achieved through the strategic withdrawal of expected energy. You are not cruel. You are not dismissive. You are simply unmoved. And for a woman with an inflated ego, being unmoved is the most threatening and most intriguing quality a man can possess. Strategy number 1: the power of indifference. Indifference is one of the most powerful and most misunderstood tools a man can use. But it has to be real. It cannot be forced. Fake indifference is an act. It is you pretending not to care while secretly peeking at your phone every 5 seconds, hoping she notices your performance. Women can sense this fakeness a mile away. It reeks of insecurity. True indifference, that is freedom. It is the deep, internal state of knowing that you do not need her validation, her attention, or her approval to feel whole as a man. It is an energy that comes from having a mission, a purpose, and a life so fulfilling that she is a welcome addition, not a necessary component. Most women are experts at testing men. They will push your buttons. They will act cold. They will pull away, just to see if you will chase. They are subconsciously measuring your emotional stability. And most men fail these tests miserably. They panic. They think they are about to lose her. So they react with neediness and desperation. But when you are truly indifferent, when her games and her tests do not move you, her ego takes a direct hit. Think about a time a woman tested you with silence or distance. What was your internal monologue? Was it a storm of fear and anxiety, or a calm ocean of freedom? Picture this common scenario. She ignores your message for hours, perhaps even a full day. The average guy spirals. He double texts, he calls. He crafts long paragraphs demanding an explanation. His entire day is ruined. But you don't even flinch. You might not even notice for a few hours. Because you are busy. You are focused on your work, on your workout, on your own life. She expects you to be in a state of emotional turmoil. Instead, she checks your social media and sees you calm, grounded, and completely unbothered. Without saying a single word, you have communicated a powerful message to her. I don't chase. I don't beg. I don't compete for attention. That silence, that lack of a needy reaction, speaks louder than any angry argument ever could. Suddenly, her ego, which was built on the belief that she could control your emotions with her distance, collapses. She realizes her usual tactics, the ones that work on 99% of other men, are completely useless on you. And once again, she feels unsettled, perhaps even a little intimidated. This is not about playing hard to get. It is about embodying a level of self-respect so deep that you genuinely cannot be shaken by someone else's emotional games. And when she sees that unshakable core, her ego has no fuel left to burn. Strategy number 2: mystery. Now, indifference alone isn't enough. It can sometimes be interpreted as a total lack of interest. To truly dismantle her ego and spark attraction at the same time, you have to add another powerful element: mystery. Women are drawn to mystery, but they are also threatened by it. A man who reveals everything about himself too quickly is easy. He is easy to categorize, easy to predict, and easy to control. But a man who stays calm, observant, and a little bit unpredictable, that unsettles her. It challenges her. Silence can be your most strategic weapon here. When you don't over-explain yourself, when you don't justify your every action, when you let your presence speak for itself, you create a space that her ego cannot easily navigate. Her ego thrives on certainty. It loves knowing it has the upper hand. It loves feeling that it can predict you. But mystery denies her that comfort. Think about your own communication style. Are you an open book, revealing every thought and feeling in the hopes of building a fast connection? Or do you hold something back, understanding that curiosity is a powerful aphrodisiac? Imagine this scenario. She asks you a question that is designed to corner you, to test you. Something like, "So, who were you with last night?" The average man scrambles. He gets defensive. He over-explains, trying to prove his innocence. But you simply smile. You hold her gaze for a second, and you calmly change the subject. "That's a long story. Tell me about your day instead." No lies, no excuses. Just calm, confident redirection. That silence, that refusal to explain yourself, will eat at her mind far more than any defensive speech ever could. Your unpredictability dismantles her sense of control. Her ego feeds on her ability to dominate the interaction. But when she cannot read you, when she cannot easily place you in a box, she begins to feel powerless. And for an ego-driven woman, that feeling of powerlessness is like starvation. Mystery makes her chase clarity. And the more she chases you for an answer, a reaction, a piece of information, the more her ego shrinks, and the more her attraction for you grows. Strategy number 3, passing her tests. Every man who dates women will be tested. It is an inevitable part of the process. It is her subconscious, biological way of measuring your strength, your stability, and your ability to lead. Most men fail these tests. They fail because they react too strongly, too emotionally, and too quickly. When she tests you, maybe by insulting you playfully, by withholding affection, or by comparing you to someone else, she is not really listening to your words. She is watching your reaction. Do you desperately defend yourself? Do you crumble under the pressure? Do you become angry and insecure? Or do you remain calm, almost amused, as if her test barely even touched you? Passing her tests silently is the fastest way to dismantle her ego. Because her ego thrives on seeing you flinch. It thrives on getting a reaction, on knowing it has control over your emotional state. But when you don't give it that reaction, when you laugh it off, or simply move on as if nothing happened, she realizes that she cannot bend you. She cannot manipulate you. What is one common test you've faced in your dating life, and how did your reaction to it affect the outcome? Picture this. She says something like, "Other guys would do more for me." The average man would immediately get defensive. He would start listing all the things he does for her. He might get angry. He might start pleading. But you simply smirk. You hold her gaze. And you let the silence linger for a moment. That silence, that calm amusement, hits her ego harder than any comeback you could ever say. It tells her, without a single word, that you do not feel the need to compete. And you certainly do not need her approval to know your own worth. With every test you pass in silence, her ego takes another blow, and in its place, something else begins to grow. Respect. She begins to respect you, not because you told her to, but because you showed her that you are a man who cannot be emotionally manipulated. Strategy number 4, living in your frame. Your frame is the mental reality you carry with you into every interaction. It's your world, your rules, your perspective, your priorities. Most men have a weak frame. The moment they meet a beautiful or intimidating woman, they abandon their own frame and rush to enter hers. They start agreeing with everything she says. They over-explain themselves. They adjust their own values and priorities just to please her. That act of surrender is like a gourmet meal for her ego. It tells her that she is the leader, that her reality is more important than yours, that she is in control. But when you hold your own frame, when you stand by your beliefs, your schedule, and your priorities without apology, you silently destroy her ego, because her ego expects compliance. Her ego expects submission. When you don't give it that, you force her to respect your world. Think of a time you changed your opinion or your plans just to please her. In that moment, were you operating from your frame or from hers? Let's make this practical. She tries to change your plans at the last minute. The man with a weak frame will immediately bend. Okay, whatever you want. The man with a strong frame will calmly say, that doesn't work for me. We can stick to the original plan, or we can reschedule for another time. No anger, no pleading, just calm firmness. She may act annoyed at first, she may test that boundary, but inside her ego is cracking. Why? Because you just showed her that you are not afraid to lose her. And a man who is not afraid to lose her is a man of high value. Living in your frame means she cannot drag you into her emotional storms. You remain centered, calm, immovable. When a woman sees a man living like that, she realizes her emotional games have no power over him. And when she realizes that she is left with only two choices, she can either step up and meet you at your level of mutual respect, or she can walk away. Either way, you win. Strategy number 5, the willingness to walk away. This is the final strategy. The most silent, yet the most devastating move of all. Nothing destroys a woman's ego faster and more completely than the quiet realization that she does not own you. That no matter how beautiful, charming, or intelligent she is, you will leave if she disrespects your fundamental standards. And the key is, you do not have to announce it. You do not have to make threats. You show it through your action or your inaction. When she crosses a real boundary, you don't argue, you don't beg. You simply, calmly, distance yourself. Your absence becomes the consequence. When she tries to use the silent treatment as a weapon to punish you, you match her silence without complaint, showing her that you are perfectly happy in your own company. When she disrespects your value, you show her through that absence that her ego cannot buy your loyalty. Walking away, or the demonstrated willingness to do so, is the ultimate checkmate in this game, because it removes the very oxygen that her ego survives on in your attention. Without your presence, her inflated sense of self has nothing to push against. It shrivels. What is your non-negotiable boundary, the one that, if crossed, you know you would have to be willing to walk away over? Do you even know what it is? She may try to pull you back in. She may test you one last time to see if she still has power. But if you stand firm, if you hold to your principles, she will be forced to face the reality. She never truly controlled you. And here is the beautiful irony. The man who is truly willing to walk away is often the very man she fights hardest to keep. Because genuine, deep respect and desire are born in the space where her ego dies. That is the ultimate secret. Now, if you are ready to become this man, the man who is calm, centered, and in control, then I want you to subscribe to the Stoic Manhood Guide. This is what we do here. We build men of substance. So here is the truth. Destroying a woman's ego doesn't require shouting arguments or cruelty. It requires discipline, silence, indifference, mystery, the ability to pass tests without flinching, the strength to live in your own frame, and the ultimate weapon, the willingness to walk away. Here is the most important lesson from today. You do not fight her ego with your ego. You dissolve her ego with your principles. Each of these strategies doesn't just break down her frame. They build your own. They remind her that respect is mutual, not automatic, that attraction is earned, not owed, and that a man who cannot be controlled is a man who cannot be ignored. Now I want to hear from you. Of these strategies we discussed, which one was the biggest wake-up call for you? Drop your experience in the comments. This channel isn't just about advice. It's about building men who understand their own worth. If this guide gave you a new understanding of power dynamics, hit the like button and share it with a man who is tired of playing games he doesn't understand. And if you are ready to master this, subscribe to the Stoic Manhood Guide, because in the next video, I'll reveal the psychological tests women use every single day, and how most men are failing them without even knowing it. You don't want to miss that. This has been the Stoic Manhood Guide. Remember, the loudest man in the room is not the most powerful. The most powerful man is the one who doesn't need to speak at all.